I am Michael Lighten, writer of science fiction and poetry works. I'm reading a chapter for one of my works so that you can hear how the writing flows and see if you have interest. My works are all futuristic so far, except for some poetry, a two-volume set called Here Are Teachings for a New World. This reading will consist of Blue Battles, W.B. Yeats quote, nor law, nor duty bade me fight, nor public men, nor cheering crowds. A lonely impulse in the clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seem waste of breath, a waste of breath. The years behind in balance with this life, this death. An Irish airman foresees his death. Y.B. Yeats, 1865 to 1939. I'm going to skip author's notes because that's in other current chapters. We'll go to introduction. Small conflicts emerged in the Han region, St. Louis, and Kansas City area over an article written by reporter Corey Logan. Corey surmised there were four leaders in positions of power who could cause great despair or great healing to the people. He surnamed these leaders Mr. and asked what their real intentions were. The article asks a valid question, but it opened Corey to death threats from St. Louis, Kansas City, New London, and New Troy, all of Missouri. Many of the threats came as email and social media. Corey wrote about Mr. Rugged was Bach, Mr. Blue, Mr. Shem, and Mr. Arvid. With some history on the characters, Corey asks what the desire of each Mr. was. Mr. Rugged, formerly Bach Banyan, son of Bela and Chelsea Banyan, raided Kansas City, Missouri, which is called KCMO, on March the 3rd, New Times, with an army of crack troops. With little resistance, the city fell without much bloodshed on March the 17th, New Times. With his sights turned toward St. Louis, Missouri, or STLUMO, St. Lumo, Bach prepared his army. Mr. Shem, formerly Shimoni Timur, received his doctorate degree in psychology in New Times. As Dr. Shimoni, he was approached by Roughman Mars and Jude in New Times to act as a buffer for a tyrant known as Mr. Rugged. At the time, Bach Banyan had a ragtag army of 4,122 troops. At present, he had over 31,283 troops and growing. Mr. Arvid was born Arvid in New Times to Kimberly Frost and Mars the Rough Man. Arvid developed a camp for healing with millions far and wide visiting. His brothers Atlee and Razi were strangely not placed as misters in what was known as the Misters Conflict. Mr. Blue arrived on Earth October the 25th of New Times in a small ship that emitted blue light rays. For 20 years, Blue barely emerged from the ship and only received two human representatives who never emerged again. On April the 20th of New Times, the ship took off and left Blue alone. Camp Shem, Chapter 1. Shem's Land, New Times. Shem's Land, better known as St. Louis, Missouri, or short for St. Lumo, as the citizens like to call it, had a population of 1,395,002 humans. The rest were mixed with Fumans, Phasies, and a small Belarus neighborhood on the south side. When Shem was contacted through his V phone, a reporter had come to see him as scheduled. He nodded solemnly and had the reporter set up by a robot security detail. Shem was 92 years of age, and feeling the effects of infirmity, he roughly sat in a black and blue chair and began to breathe heavily for a moment. He thought he was having one of his heart attacks, but decided not to seek for a remedy just yet. He felt he had time. Shem was a tall man with gray around his balding head. His skin was pockmarked with dark blemishes, and was evident he had not shaven for the interview. With the large, thin nose and thin lips, he used to call himself a handsome man long ago. When the door opened in came Corey Logan, and a 48-year of age reporter with blonde hair and striking blue eyes. Corey and Shem shook hands briefly, and Shem gestured him into a nearby chair. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you, Mr. Shem. You don't know how long I waited to have this sit down, Corey said. Oh, I know how long, Mr. Corey. Shem cleared his throat. I know you are the reporter behind the Mr. articles. I know your dream is to find the mystery writer behind several of the Rough Man books. Corey stopped retrieving his equipment and sat in the comfortable room of black and blue chairs and gold curtains. He stared at the simulated fire in an imitation fireplace for some time and then stared at Shem. Why do you let me interview you if you know my intentions? Corey asked. My friend, I know not of any man's intentions. I am neither Phasey nor Fuman, so your deepest fears and regrets are kept from me. Unless you want to tell me what they are, Shem said with a weak smile. I believe another war is imminent, Corey said. That's an open fear of many, Shem said. I regret not finding the mystery writer. I promised my mother I would, Corey stared sadly. That's an urban legend. Don't waste your time, Shem said. Corey adjusted miniature cameras and microphones and locked them as one unit. He did not activate the gadget yet. How can you be so sure it's not true? Corey asked. My friend, I admire your drive. That's why I gave you this interview. You have a drive in you I have not seen in myself for over 60 years. Shem coughed lightly in his arm. It would be sad if you chased ghosts and shadows with your talents and drive. Many writers have for years adjusted their names. This was to see if the story was important or the writer. So you are saying the Rough Man books were written by one man with different names? Corey asked. Sure. All the writers do it one time or another. Shem waved his pink hand. Corey shifted in his black and gray robes and white sneakers. This odd combination of colors brightened the dull eyes of Shem. Corey saw the humor in his combination with light laughter. I never wear shoes. I could run in sneakers much faster, Corey said. Understood. Shim's smile slowly faded away. Before you start that contraption, I want to ask you why the Mr. article. Corey pressed his pink lips together and sighed deeply. He looked at the gray rug below and stared firmly into the green eyes of Shim. I believe through the power of a word, I can slow down the coming war. The article brings out certain powers people might not realize. It asks the question, who is in charge? Millions have responded, Corey said. It's a good article. I like things that keep the people thinking too, Shim said carefully. Corey nodded in agreement, but behind the face of Shim was a deeper, darker secret that Corey hoped he would share. Shim was a tall man of 6 feet 3 inches. When he tried to stand, his legs did not work well, and Corey hurried to his side to help him rise, but Shim would not have it. He gestured Corey away and struggled to stand in his green and white robes that moved like flag. The struggle is what keeps me alive, Shim said as he rose. It's my form of exercise. Corey stayed standing in his nervous tension. Shim walked a few steps, looked back, and gestured Corey forward. I want to show you something. Keep the camera rolling, Shim said with a secretive smile. Corey lifted the light contraption to his shoulder, and in an instant clicked on so that it gave the apartment an eerie look. Shim looked back, and in his green eyes was a mischievous stare. Take a look at this. Shim held carefully in his fat palms a glass container with a feather in it. Mars and Jude gave it to me. Beautiful, isn't it? What is it? Corey asked behind the camera. You can't get close to it like that way, Shim said, disappointed. Corey hesitated and placed the contraption on a nearby brown table so that it continued to record, as Shim carefully handed him a feather encased in hard plastic. It means something, but I don't know what it means. Sharnak was given one too, and relayed this to me 2 years after the fact. We both believe it has something to do with the bird, Shim said. What type of bird? Corey asked. I don't know, Shim said. It's yours to keep. I can't use it. Apparently the rough men left it to you for a reason, Corey said, reluctant to take it. It's just going to be stolen or auctioned off after I am gone, and I don't have much time, so I believe it will be good in your hands, Shim smiled. Behind the green eyes of Shim's smile was a message that eluded Corey's perception and understanding. He carefully slid the plastic casing in a large black bag with tiny strings. I didn't expect to go on a treasure hunt, Corey said nervously. Ah, there's more, Shim said. Shim moved further back into the apartment. This surprised Corey. He found the elaborate, comfortable place of bookshelves and imitation fireplaces to be alluring. He also found the songs from a nearby satellite radio station that played jazz and classical to draw him into contemplations from the past. Shim slid apart brown double doors, and the sound startled Corey from his reflections in music and melancholy. Welcome to my lair. Shim walked into a small office of brown mahogany furniture and black office chairs. Only I am allowed back here. And now you. Corey only nodded and peered around with the camera and light. Shim covered the camera lens and gestured negatively. This will have to remain our secret. Also, the feather should be edited out too, Shim said. Corey nodded and placed the contraption on a nearby desk. Shim produced a key and reached further down with a little jerk, introduced a small suitcase of a black design with strange letters Corey didn't recognize. I don't know what they mean, and I don't care to know. Shim unlocked the suitcase. Some things are best left in the dark. Inside were 5 small vials of a green liquid. It was evident the suitcase was filled at one time. Shim took out one vial and pops its cork. Bottoms up, Shim said as he drank the liquid. Has a bittersweet taste. You're not going to start changing on me, Corey asked, alarmed. No, it doesn't work that way. Shim chuckled and sat on the edge of his desk. It works internally. It keeps you vital, strong, and alert. Side effects? You turn to your previous state, sometimes worse, because your body has to catch up to its natural state. Corey held the small vial in his hand as if it was a bug. Heard so many rumors about it. He was not sure how to take this new information. You can keep the remaining vials. It was supposed to last for 10 years, but I was very conservative. I was given 100 vials 23 years ago. Now there are 4 left, Shim said. Shim locked the case and gave Corey his keys. Corey was lost for words, and Shim could tell he was trying to figure it all out at one time. I was given the vials to keep me alive, or I would be dead. If I was dead, Mr. Shim would not exist. If I did not exist, Mr. Rugged would have taken over St. Lumo by now and crushed the other misters, Shim said. Corey pocketed the key and lifted the suitcase and found it to be light as a feather. Shim smiled and pressed his fat left palm on Corey's small shoulder. Now get out of my office so I can get my last joy on before I die, Shim said. Corey looked at him, surprised. We all have to die sometimes, friend, Shim said kindly. And that was chapter 1 and part of an introduction on blue battles. In the works, there are 2 more I found in the pocket. One is a science fiction thriller called The Forgotten Case of Rain, and the other is a practical guide to living called Communications and Love. These books are on Amazon.com, Google Play Books, and Drafted Digital, which is connected to Barnes and Noble and Apple Books. So if you enjoyed that, you can click on those. Also, I will leave in there any connections to other books that's similar to mine. This is Michael Lighten, and I will connect with you in the next audio.